Okay. Now, let me show you the pin. Being pinned is like being in the right place at the wrong time. It's sort of like, well, like standing guard when things get serious. When you're responsible for watching over someone else's stuff, you can't leave it or something might happen to it. That's what happens when you pin your opponent. You lock him in place.
Halt! Who goes?
When the dragon showed up all hot and bothered, the maiden escaped while the guard had to stay and take the heat. The poor guard was in the right place, but at the wrong time. Let's look at a pin on the chessboard. Your queen has pinned the red rook in place. The rook cannot move because he would expose his king. So he must do his noble duty of standing guard as his king escapes. And then your queen can go ahead and capture the red rook. Poor rook! He was in the right place, but at the wrong time. Let's try a pin for ourselves. Take a look at what we have here. The queen's next move can pin the rook. Go ahead and move the queen. Great! You've pinned the rook. Your opponent has no choice now. He cannot move the rook without exposing his king to check. So, he has to move his king instead. There it is. The rook is left open for the queen to capture. Go ahead and take the rook. You've got it! You were able to pin the rook because he was in the right place at the wrong time. A pin does not have to involve the king. A piece can be pinned whenever it is shielding a piece of higher value than itself. In this setup, the red bishop has pinned your knight against your rook. If you move the knight, the bishop can capture your rook freely. If you don't move the knight, you're unable to prevent its capture on the next turn. What choice will you make? Go ahead and make the next move. Good! You kept a bad situation from getting worse. You will lose your knight, but your rook, which is more valuable, is now safe. Now, let's look at almost the same setup, but with a twist. Now look at this example. It's almost the same as the one we just saw, but we've added another piece. Like before, the red bishop appears to have pinned the gray knight, because moving the knight exposes the more valuable rook. It may seem that you have to choose between which of these pieces you will surrender to your opponent. But there is a clever way out of this particular situation. Can you find it? Go ahead and make your next move. Yes! You see it, don't you? You were able to escape the pin by placing the king in check, and you managed a bit of turnabout against your opponent by putting his bishop at the losing end of a fork, all in the same move. Your opponent's only choice now is to move his king, leaving you with the bishop. As you can see, it pays to look for the opportunities to be found when making a defensive move. You may find you're able to turn a retreat into an attack at the same time. That was fun. Let's have some more fun with puzzles that involve the pin. Here's the puzzle. It's your move. Find the pin in this position. Wonderful! That is the correct move. Gray's next move would be to capture the rook. Here's the puzzle. It's your move. Use your rook to create a pin. Excellent! That is the correct move. Gray's next move would be to capture the bishop. Here's the puzzle. It's your move. Find a pin that will help your game. Good work! That is a very fine chess move. You could move the knight, but setting up the pin is a stronger move. Here's the puzzle. It's your move. Find the pin in this position. Excellent! That is a very powerful move. This is a common type of pin in the opening of the game. Here's the puzzle. It's your move. Find a pin on the red pieces. Congratulations! That is the correct move. The Red Queen is now lost for the lowly bishop. I hope you were not distracted by the free knight found here. The knight is pinned. Can you attack a second time? Excellent! That is the correct move. When the red rook captures back, your bishop takes the rook, and gray is ahead. Here's the puzzle. It's your move. Find the pin in this position. This one may take a bit of thinking. It will take you 2 moves. Good. Now find the pin. Excellent! That is the correct move. Gray's next move will be to capture the rook. Here's the puzzle. It's your move. Find the pin in this position. Excellent! That is the correct move. You know, that's a difficult puzzle to solve. All that red can do now is play here, losing the queen to the rook. Gray is now ahead by 2 pawns and should be able to win. That's the end of the pin puzzles. Let's see where you're at on the progress board.